please just introduce yourself, give us your full name, please give us your date of birth if you don't mind, and tell me where you were born to.
My name is Elizabeth Ann Crowder, but everybody know me by Ann Crowder. And I was born in Spur, Texas in 1943. And I was born to the parentage of James P. Burrell and Clarice Burrell. I had 3 brothers, it was 4 of us, and I was number 2. And I was the only girl. And we moved to La Mesa, Texas when I was very young. And when we were there for a few years, and then when I got older, well, I guess maybe about 7 or 8, we moved to Lubbock. And also at that time, my mother and father had a cafe, and it was located on Dade Avenue. And then it was right down the street from St. Luke. If you know where St. Luke is, that it was right down the street and on Dade. And then urban renewal came in, and a lot of things changed. And then a lot of things changed. And then I went to school at Dunbar and Ella Eyes, and in which is still, the building is still located. But then the school moved to on Quirt, I believe that's where the school is located, and that's ain't where the school is located. And back then, it was our school, the elementary, and Dunbar was kind of up on the hill. And in that time, there was barracks, because I believe in the elementary school apparently wasn't enough room. So they had barracks set up for us to go to school, and that was, I think it was the 4th and 5th grade. And later, when I went into Dunbar, well, then I was in the junior high. It was at that time the junior high and senior high. All right, and while I was in school, one thing I did, I participated in the band, and Dunbar Band, and I believe back in that day, everybody knew about the Dunbar Band because we went in competition in Prairie View A&M to be in competition both in the marching part and concert band. And every time seemed like we go. I think the lowest that we were rated was maybe in 2nd place, but the majority of the time when we went to Prairie View, we always got at least 1 rating of 1. And that's why I say most of the people in the state knew exactly who the Dunbar Band was. And then we came home, and I'm gonna back up some because, like I said, my family had a cafe, and a lot of times the kids would have lunch, and when it'd be lunch break, they would walk down into the cafe so they could have hot dogs and hamburgers. And so I think we kind of got known for Miss Burrell's hot dogs and hamburgers. And also they want malts and milkshakes, and boy, they did that every day. But then we still had the cafeteria where you could go and eat in the cafeteria. So we would do that sometime. And quite naturally, when we had the cafe, I had to work. So I believe we had a 45-minute for a break, for lunch break. But anyway, we got there, and I made a mini malts and milkshake. Let me tell you something funny, that whenever I would make the milkshake, I would always put in just enough milk, just a little more. So part of it, I served to the customer, and I had enough in there for me. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I cheated a little bit, but it was worth it. And I graduated in 1961. And after I graduated, I went to Tech, and then when it was first opened up for the Black people, and I did not finish because I had something else came up. My husband was in a severe accident, a bad accident, and left him partial paralyzed. And so that took place. That took the place of me going back to school. And on top of that, I had two little ones, two daughters, Yolanda and Zanetta. And that was another, another thing that I had to give my attention to. So I'm trying to think of some of the other things that I did. Okay, I work in the church, and I am the Sunday school superintendent at St. Luke, and I also am the Vacation Bible School director. I sing in the choir, which I love to do, but I can't sing, but I make the number up. So, and I always say, well, I'm a good background singer. I can really back you up if that's what you need. Then I also chaperone the kids to the district congress and state congress and to the national congress. And they go to these different congresses in competition. You go to the district, and if you win the district competition, that you place in, they had Bible stories, books of the Bible, memory verses, essays. If you place in any of those in the district, they would pick you to go represent the district in the state. And if you're chosen from the state, you go to the national. And so these things I work with when I was working with youth, in which I still work with the youth in some capacity. But I enjoy working with youth. Whatever I can do to support them. I know one year we carried the youth to the Washington, D.C., and we put on, special efforts in order to raise money so we could carry them. And then sometime they, if you could get the kid could get a sponsor, they have a sponsor to help them on their trip. But I think the youth enjoyed it. We went to the Capitol. We saw the changing of the guard. Now that's something I really enjoyed when you see them, and I believe the guards on there all the time, and they just have changed shifts. And that was really something to see. And we went to the cemetery, the Arlington Cemetery, and we just exposed our youth to quite a bit. Then we would go, I think we went to where Martin Luther King was assassinated, and they were able to go through the bus, and they could, go through the hotel, and you could see that. And we also carried them to where Rosa Parks was killed. The bus. We saw the bus, and then we also saw where the three girls. I believe it was three girls.
Right.
The church where they were killed. We exposed our youth to a lot of things, so we just carried them from different places, because I believe sometime if we hadn't, probably they would never have been able to see the things that we had, carried them on.
And what church was that with?
Greater St. Luke.
So that's the organization that carried all these kids up there?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
All right. And it wasn't just that, just St. Luke. It was extended to the other churches. If they wanted their youth to go, they were welcome to go, and along with some of the adults wanted to go on the trip. So it was very, very educational for both the youth and the adults, and I think they all enjoyed it.
Can we go back a little bit? I was very curious when you said y'all had a cafe over on Dayton.
Yes.
And did your dad and mom start that cafe together? And if you can, what were some of the prices like back in those days?
Ooh. They would, they had the business in Lamesa, Texas. And then when we moved to Lubbock, then they still was in business. And Oh, I guess maybe you could get a shake for maybe about 25 cents, and you can get sundaes and banana splits, almost anything, that you wanted. And like I say, they had hamburger, and my mother was known for her chili. And she prepared, like I said, she prepared lunch for the gentlemen, the men that worked over at the oil mill. And then, they would come over and she fixed lunch for them.
Was that Pico?
Was that what?
That oil mill, was that Pico? Or was that another business?
The one on Avenue A?
Yeah, right across from Frito-Lay?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
That's where, that's where it was. Because back, now they have it fenced off. Well, back then the business and it was houses in that area where where it's fenced off. But anyway, we just enjoyed ourselves.
What do you remember of Lubbock being like back in, say when you was about 10 years old and going around with your family and stuff like that? Give us an idea of how it looked and what it was like.
Oh, back then, there was other businesses, and I know that when we had the program last weekend, and Sister Bell, or Frances Bell, she named some of those businesses, and I pretty much can say the same ones. Like there was In-Low Groceries, and then there was Gamble Barbecue. There was a barbershop, I say Ned Lou Barbershop, and right now, off the top of my head, I can't think of any more. But it was it was more than I'm, able to write at this time, remember.
Right. And that was all over around Chapman Hill, or
In the Chapman Hill area. And see, it was an area when we first came called the Steam City. And then there was an area called Thunderbird. Well, now Thunderbird came much later. All right, Steam City, Queen City, and then these were just names of areas of the area parts of the town. But back then, when I was growing up, we had a house that was over in the Steam City area, and that was by the graveyard. And that's where we live. We live right across the street from the graveyard. You think that it's pretty scary, but you get used to it.
Right.
Yeah.
So Steam City so obviously it was near the graveyard, but what do you think was the boundaries of Steam City? Like where was it?
Let's see, it was, I cannot describe exactly where it is, where it was.
Where would you say
it was
the
a
center
granary. It was a granary over there, and I know Steam City was in that area where that granary was. And Queen City was on the other side of the track. Now, you quite naturally know it was the tracks. And on one side of the tracks was Queen City. And that was around about on King Avenue. And that's where that place was located. And we lived in Steam City when we first got here. Then we moved over on Date. And then we left there and went to the area called Queen City because we got a larger house. And I don't know how the families did it back then, but I know in my family, my mother and father, we had a 3-room house. And can you imagine 3 boys and 1 girl and your mother and father living in a 3-room house?
And you saying not 3-bedroom, 3
but
room.
3 rooms.
So
the front room, a bedroom, and a kitchen. But the main thing is, my mother didn't have to cook at home. So, quite naturally, we go to the cafe and eat there. So that kitchen area, we used it as a bedroom. And
Interesting.
But you did what you had to do.
Right.
But we moved on up a little.
And did you tell me your mother and father's name and all your sisters and brothers? Did we say that already?
No.
Can we make sure we
Okay,
get that in?
my dad's name was James Burrell, and my mother was Clarice. And I had 3 brothers, William Burrell, Charles Burrell, and Don Burrell. Now, my brothers are known for football. When we were in high school, I know my oldest brother played football, and he was a big guy. All right, and he played, I think he played on the line, of course. And he was pretty much known as Big Burrell because he was a big guy. And my second brother, Charles, he played a little, but I always thought he warmed the bench, warmed the bench. So anyway, but he did get in there a little. But now my baby brother, Don, now he went to school at Lubbock High. And he was well known for, for his playing of football. And eventually he went to Angelo State, and he was well known, had a reputation at Angelo State. And later he was drafted back then it was Baltimore Colts, and he was drafted by them. And he was cut. Quite naturally, everybody can't make the team, but he was drafted, but he was cut. But and then he went to some other little leagues, smaller leagues, and he did. I guess he did pretty good. Huh. And eventually, he stopped. He got out of football and went into something else. Mm-hmm. And my oldest brother, he drove truck for Frito-Lay. Oh, I don't know how long. He drove it long enough that he was able to retire from truck driving. I think he thought he loved that. He enjoyed it. But I think I would have gotten tired just driving a truck. But anyway, my family was, we just enjoyed each other. Now let's go back to when I was going to school. I played in the band. I played the clarinet.
Okay.
And Mr. Roberts was the band director, and Mr. Braxton also helped out with the band, but basically he did the string instruments. Now, one thing I was in the marching band, we had to march quite naturally on the ground. But back then in '54, and it wasn't paved. The parking area wasn't paved.
Right.
And so we had to march on rocks. I would say rocks, and you mean marching on rocks, and have to trying to perfect things and the precision and all of this. But we did. It paid off because, like I said earlier, we were in competition, state competition, and we did real good. So no complaint. Anyway, they played football on. I'm trying to think of the football field, but it's down by I want to say Chapman Field is the name.
Chapman Field by Lubbock High.
Lubbock High,
Yes,
Chapman Field.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we actually had had our football games. Mm. And we, like I say, we marched band, was a marching band, and the football team, they were real good. We always had a good football team. And basketball team, we had a good basketball team. And back then, Mr. Mallory was the coach for basketball, and Mr. Hill and Mr. Scott, they were pretty much over football. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to forget to tell you who the principal was at Dunbar, and his name was E.C. Struggs. He was a little in stature, but you're talking about a lot of respect. I don't know, he didn't do anything to make you scared, but he was just a stern man. And he got a lot of respect. Oh, here comes Mr. Struggs. We called him Professor Struggs. But and then I can't remember. If I can remember some of the principals after him, and they were good. I'm not going to say that they were, but they were some good principals. Mr. Scott was principal. Mr. Powell, Romeo Powell was principal, and by that time I got out of school. So after I left school, and I didn't keep up with them.
Mm-hmm. So, what was your profession?
My profession?
Yes, ma'am.
I worked for the government, federal government. I started out with the USDA, and I worked for them about 10 years. And then I went to work for Housing and Urban Development. And that's when that's where I end my career, where I'm 30 years, and with USDA, I worked 10 years, and then I went and worked 30 years with a HUD. So I had 40 years of service.
Oh, I see. So I'd like to go into each one of those two different professions, but don't let me forget, because you mentioned the urban development that came along later. What do they call it? How they kind of came in and...
They came in and well, they bought the houses out, the land out. So,
and I've heard that was, everybody expected that to be a good deal, but it turned out not to be a good deal. Is that the case?
Yes, but then back then, but see, I was young at that time when they came through buying out the houses, and then quite naturally it made it look like that you're getting a good deal. I know when we stayed over there, my dad, they bought in Thunderbird, and we pretty much in Thunderbird was the new community, the new area, and so that's where they bought. They bought in at Thunderbird.
Whereabout was Thunderbird roughly located at?
It is off of Broadway, and I want to say 19th.
Okay.
And I can't give you any other how to explain any other way. I tell you one thing.
What's that?
It was over in the area where a cotton field was.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
when you were coming up, was May Simmons Community Center built yet, or was it still a junkyard at one point?
Well, no, they hadn't built, when I was coming up, they hadn't built May Simmons back, but eventually they did that when I was young, and May Simmons came along. But I was older then, much older then, when they built May Simmons.
So what was it before they built on it? Do you remember what that land was?
No, I don't remember. Outside, maybe it was just land, It wasn't, I don't remember what was on it.
So going back to your professions, tell us what did you do at the USDA, and how did you like it? And how did you get there too?
I had a friend who told me about the job, and when she told me about it, it was just part-time. Well, it was for just temporary. Now it was temporary, and I worked. I think it maybe been 30 days, and then they extended it, and eventually I got on, and I didn't even have civil service. I hadn't even taken the civil service test. That was just a temporary job, and eventually they kept me on, and I ended up going to have to take the test. And then while I was there, I worked as a clerk typist. And what we did, the people I work with, they work quite naturally with the farmers, and the plans and things they set up, like they'll tell the farmers how to rotate crops, and and how to put land in where you don't grow crops on for a certain length of time. Would you?
Let it lie fallow?
Yes. They did that. And I had to I typed up the plans as to how they were to rotate the crops. And then I got a job with USDA, and I started out like opening mail and distributing mail to the different sections. And then eventually I went to in the section where they approve loans. Now, in the first section is where we appraisals. Mm-hmm. That was the first section, was the appraisals of houses.
Right.
And then when they application where they apply for the actual loan, I worked in that department. And then I went to doing records, keeping records. And then I went to issuing mortgage insurance certificates. Mm-hmm. And I left there and I went to program assistant. So I just kind of went up the ladder. And one thing, I may have said this before, it took me a long time to decide, well, I don't know whether I want to go to HUD, because I had been in this position so long at USDA until, you get kind of comfortable and you don't want to move to move. Mm-hmm. But I was in a dead end position at USDA. I'd gone as far as I could go as far as promotions was concerned. And finally, a young lady talked me into, well, just go on. Just, you just be going from one agency to another agency. And if they don't hire you in the new agency, USDA, you still have a job. Mm-hmm. But it still was a hard decision for me to make. And finally, I decided to go. And it came to me that if I didn't move or go to the new agency, I said, now, I kept praying, what should I do? And it just dawned on me that if I stayed in that position, in order, it was just that if a car is and I've probably said this before, in a rut, and you want to get out the rut, sometimes you have to back up. And so that HUD position was a drop in grade. Mm. And so that's why I say I took the chance. I said, well, now I got to get out of here. If it means I got to take this drop in grade, I'll take it, and then I can go further and get higher grades. And I went on up and got higher grades. Mm-hmm. Just gradually after year, so many years you work in this position, so many years you work in that position. Each time you go up to another grade. Mm. And that helped me make my decision to move from one agency to another agency. Mm.
And about what year was that you were working at there and you went to HUD?
I started out in HUD, I think about in I started out with USDA in 1966.
Okay.
All right, and I worked for them for 10 years. And then I went to HUD. And that's where I worked the longest, was 30 years. Mm.
Interesting. Can you describe what the atmosphere at Texas Tech was like when you were there? What year was that, and was it racist? Was it pressure on you? Did you feel welcome? Did you feel unwelcome? How was it?
Well, when I went to Tech in '61, quite naturally, they wasn't quite ready for us. But they had to, to accept us, but they, sometimes you just kind of felt like, hey, that you're in I don't think I want to stay here. But we stayed because the door was open. In order for us to stay in there, who knows what, we looked at the people that was going to come behind us, not so much as what's in front of us. I mean, you had we had to take that step in order for the students behind us. We just kind of paving the way for the ones that's coming behind. But yeah, it was some prejudice there. I know we went on a band trip, and some of the trips we weren't able to take because why? Our color.
Huh.
We didn't get to take the trips.
So the rest of the band went somewhere, but the black students had to stay behind.
Stayed behind.
What do you remember where some of those locations might have been that y'all couldn't go to?
Well, quite naturally, Austin.
So y'all couldn't go to Austin.
Well, yeah, we couldn't. We didn't go. But we did. I remember one time we did go on a trip. But when you said that, I'm just, where the University of Texas, and those are where they were playing games.
Right.
But we just, we weren't ones that pretty much didn't make those trips.
Wow. So I guess UT wasn't actually desegregated yet.
I don't think so.
Wow.
Well, they may have been, because if you think about it, if Tech was,
That's what I was thinking.
yeah, if
Right.
Tech was, they had to be.
But I'm just confused why they wouldn't let y'all come. That's so.
Well, outside of like I say, the color,
Yeah.
they
But-
just they hadn't accepted the fact that, hey,
Wow.
we are, we are part of the band, part of the school.
Wow. That's so weird. When you were coming up around that time at Tech, about what year was that? You say about 60?
In the 60,
66?
yeah, about
Something.
60. Mm-hmm.
Well, how was downtown? Was downtown still flourishing at that point? Was it? Because I hear stories about Levine's and all these stores and stuff, and now you go down there and
It's no Levine's.
it's no nothing really. It's
There
barely
used to be a Woolworth, and used to be a J.C. Penney's, Sears. All these places, most of them, Sears and J.C. Penney's, quite naturally, the mall, they moved out farther. But Levine's was one of the main stores for where, black people, because they can't afford it. But
Really?
then and I know that the federal building wasn't there. We were on 19th Street. The federal building was on 19th Street.
Oh, I see.
And then, it moved to the new location.
When about that time when you were hanging out in college and stuff like that, what movies did you go to see and where did you go? What did y'all like to do? What was y'all's pastimes? What did y'all do when y'all was hanging out?
Now, I'll go back, and when I was growing up younger, we did have a movie, and I'm trying to remember the name of I can't remember the name of the movie theater, but it was on Avenue A. And I want to say the Ritz, but that may not be the right name. But we did have a movie theater there, and then eventually we went to the Lindsay Theater, which was downtown. And as far as, by the time I went to Tech was in, I gather some of the other places, theaters began to accept us, let us in. But
So that one that y'all used to go to, maybe the Ritz on Avenue A, that was a black-owned theater, or was it?
black owned.
Wow. Do you remember who used to own it?
No.
Oh,
One other place on Avenue A I remember is Lutz Boot Shop. And he was well known for making boots. Now, but I do remember that business on Avenue A, in Cavell's Pharmacy. Back then, that they were there. So we had some good business over in the Lubbock area. Black-owned businesses.
right. Do you happen to remember a gentleman by the name of Eugene Rockmore or Roquemore?
Yes.
You do? Can
Yes.
you tell us a little bit about him?
Well, all I know, he took pictures. He was a good photographer. Yeah, he was a good photographer. But
Really?
that's pretty much all I know about him.
Yeah, you saw him around? You saw him around?
Yes.
Interesting. The reason I was asking about that, because I'm a photographer and videographer, and I discovered him doing reading and researching and stuff, and really inspirational and some great pictures. And so I'm making a movie about him that'll come out.
Oh, that's good.
I don't know exactly when I'll finish it up, but hopefully soon, and we'll put that out. But I just thought. So how did you say his name? How was his name pronounced? Because when you read it,
Rockymore.
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 Interesting. Eugene Rockymore. Does he have any people around here that you know of still?
I don't know of any of his people that's still living or still living in where they're living.
Right.
Because everybody, after so many years, well, I got to let Lubbock go. Where are they going? To the Dallas, the Metroplex, and even now, the younger people, we're losing them.
You stayed in Lubbock. You didn't ever go to Dallas?
No. No, I've been here all my life.
What made you stay?
What made me stay? Well, I stayed, going to school, and then after that, getting married. Well, we never left, because my husband, before he was hurt in a car accident, he was an insurance agent, and he sold insurance, and so basically that's why we stayed.
I see.
And he got hurt. That's when he got hurt. He was selling insurance, and he was on what they call a special team, and he went to different cities training agents. But we never did leave Lubbock.
Tell us about your children.
Oh, I've got 2 daughters, Yolanda and Zanetta. Zanetta is a school teacher, and she lives in Houston. And Yolanda is still here with me, and she was a nurse. And then after she left nursing, she went to work for the state in the child support part of and then she stayed there, and then she started working in the school system. And so, but she's still here with me.
Right. Well, that's good. So kind of going back to touch on that HUD situation where I don't know. So apparently I've just heard people say that they came in and bought up all the houses, and I guess they were supposed to rebuild something or redo something. What was the purpose of that program, and what ended up happening with it? Did it happen? Did it go the way that it was supposed to go, or did it not go the way it was supposed to go? What happened with it?
Okay, now when I worked for HUD, I did not work directly with the individual, the public. I didn't have hands-on with them. Okay. I worked with the mortgage companies. And see, the mortgage companies are we were just an insurance agency. All right, like if you bought a house and it's foreclosed on, or what HUD does, HUD would purchase the loan, and the house would become HUD's, and we ensured that the mortgage company would get paid.
I see.
And so that's why, that's to say we were an insurance agency for home loans.
Oh, I see. Interesting. Is there anything else that you want to let the viewers know, the people that may be watching this? What were some of the high points of your life?
Okay, number one, I was able to work the 40 years of service. Yeah. That was a high point.
That's a big deal.
And but see, now HUD closed the office here. All right, now we worked up under the Denver office. Well, the main office that was in Denver. And see, this branch they closed, and then they had the Fort Worth office, and that was. See, we were the area office. Fort Worth was a state office. And then Denver was, the national. So that's the stepping stone. But I enjoy working with HUD. But then after I retired, people said, well, aren't you, and you want you to go get you another job? You know, I told him, I didn't quit a job to get a job. So if I wanted to continue to work, where would I would have stayed at her and just probably until the office closed, but they didn't just close the office where you didn't have a job. You were offered a job but you had to go, you had to move. Mm-hmm. So you had to, you had to go to Fort Worth, or Denver. So they didn't just leave you without a job. Mm-hmm. Either you did that or you retired, or you transferred or got a job with a different agency.
What is something good that you like about Lubbock?
Number one, it's a smaller, smaller town. It's some kind of medium town, because I don't think I could live in the Metroplex. I have a granddaughter in the Dallas area, but no, I couldn't live there, and so I'm just satisfied. I guess you're living in Lubbock, and then quite naturally I know quite a few of the people here, and I like to, work in the church and whatever just make me comfortable, because I'm just not I'm not that outgoing, but anyway, I enjoy my family. When they come home, and they only coming home on holidays and Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then I have little ones that come in on during the summer. Mm-hmm. But I enjoy my family.
Yeah. You know what? You just made me think of another good question, because see, the whole thing that I'm trying to do is get a picture in my mind and also in the mind of the people that's watching this. What was times like when you were growing up, historically speaking? And so thinking about an early Christmas, back to when you was a young girl, what was one of your favorite Christmases? Tell me why it was your favorite. What kind of gifts did you get? That kind of thing.
Now I'm a young, being a young girl. What am I gonna get?
Probably dolls.
A doll, and then playhouses. Mm-hmm. Basically, that's what I got, and I tell you what, that whatever my brother said, I was I enjoyed that. I did one thing when I was growing up. Quite naturally, you made mud pies. Some people probably don't even remember mud pies, but did that. And I also enjoyed shooting marbles. And I'd get out there with my brothers and we'd shoot marbles.
When you went to, what elementary school did you say you went to? You went to Ella Isles?
Yes.
Who was the teacher at that time when you were there?
All right, Miss Ada Bell Jackson, Miss Solomon, Miss Smith, and I can't think Miss Smith's name, because she was my fourth grade teacher when we moved here. Mm-hmm. And I can't think of some of them. Those about hit me right at once when you asked me about it. Mm-hmm. You threw the question out to me.
Right, and that was then the building that's the Southwest Digest building over there? Was that? Or was it a different building?
No, it was where the Isles School is.
Oh, it's still that brick building right when you come off the bridge over there?
That's where it was.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right.
Then and I could say they had apparently not enough room for all the elementary classes. Mm-hmm. So that's when they, like I say, had the barracks.
I see. Oh, you know what? I was thinking of Mary Mack.
Yes, you're thinking of Mary Mack. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this was further back toward the bridge, Ella Isles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any other thing that you want to, I got a question for you. How has Lubbock changed over the years? What is the main difference in the way Lubbock feels today than how it used to feel?
Now the change, one of the major changes that I see is where I'm seeing where the blacks are moving out to the west part and then out on the south, and the old part of the area, well then it's losing its population. People are dying, older people are dying out, and that we're not enticing others to come, But now I see now all these homes that they're building now, they are beginning to move in over here in Creek. But as far as the youth, we just don't have a lot of youth. I can say on my street, we don't have any little fellas that I know of going to school. They older people, that we're the older group. And we just don't have that. We just don't have any youth. Now I'm saying on Parkway Drive, because that's where I live, on Parkway Drive. And in the block I live in, it's just older people.
Yeah, and I've noticed that too, because we've been gone for 25 years, me and my family. And we just got back about 2 years ago. Matter of fact, it's almost 2 years, getting ready to be to the day. And I noticed that driving through the east side, it's like you said, you can see it's a lot of older folks. I don't see a lot of kids. I don't see a lot of young adults. And I got the feeling that it's kind of on the decline.
Yes.
Because of population, like you say, population drain, if you want to call it that.
Yes.
Yeah. I kind of wish we could figure out a way to get more of those businesses and stuff that we used to have back over here. But
and you stop and think that Sonic was probably the first major business, and now we've come up with pizzas, Pizza Hut and Domino's, and they're beginning to venture. But somebody had to take a chance to come over, and then we had United's now. It used to be Fur's Supermarket, but then they changed over to United's. I remember when United's was in where the bingo, where they played bingo, and then they moved, and I believe they moved over on Idlew Highway.
Yep.
It might be Verse.
United's used to be over there. I used to work at that United's back
really?
in the 90s, yes ma'am.
And then they built the new United's on Parkway.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, then they, right now, that's the only grocery store on this side. If you wanted to go, older people, don't do a lot of driving and all that. If they want to go any place, well, I thank God for the city bus, but you got to go to Avenue Q to get to Walmart. And then, but so we have no choice on this side, but as far as the grocery store, but United's. And I'm glad it's across the street from me, because many days I walk across the street and just go to United's. But now I don't, since they came in and put that main highway, and the way it's constructed now, I don't take a chance, because the traffic it's so fast. They just be driving, and all they see is that red light down at the end of my block. And so, the traffic is it's too driving. They drive too fast.
Do you remember Piggly Wiggly?
Oh, yes.
Where was that located at? What was Piggly Wiggly? People don't even know what.
Piggly Wiggly was it was a grocery store. That's what it was. It was a grocery store.
Yeah. Over there on Idlew Road?
Idlew Highway.
Idlew Highway. What about over here on Broadway? When you go down where Mackenzie Park is now, you got those. It used to be some stores on the left-hand side of that right there. You remember those? Like if you're heading downtown on Broadway and you look to the
I know.
left.
Now I can remember now Mrs. Berry's Bread. That was a big I guess what you call hiring. Well,
Oh, yeah.
people, a lot of people got jobs over there.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember going down. Well, they used to have hamburger stands, but as far as a major store, I don't
I
remember
think it was
one.
just a little corner store, like a little convenience store up in there somewhere. That's some of my earliest memories. When I was knee high to a grasshopper.
Well, they probably were there, and
Yeah.
they just slip in my mind.
Right, right. Well, Mrs. Crowder, I want to thank you for your time today. This was very interesting. We're getting ready to close it out, but if there's anything you want to say to the citizens of Lubbock or anybody that might see this, feel free to leave us with that message before we close out.
Well, number one, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to do this, and I hope I was able to shed some light on some of the things that went on in my life and when I was growing up, and maybe it's a little education to some of the younger people that had no idea some of the things that I went through, and probably I didn't give you everything that happened, but kind of like a little highlight of what went on in my life.
Mm-hmm. It was very interesting, and like I say, I thank you for sitting down with us.